Yo, yo, welcome to another episode of Dropping the Soap. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, you know what? Not for this episode, but our next episode should be on Latin women. Why are they so attractive? Is it their demeanor, their looks, or their toxicity? What is it?
Toxicity. Yeah, it's all their craziness. You know what? My girl's crazy as hell, and I love her for it, bro. I love her for it. She's a real Mexican, bro.
Definitely taught you how to resolve some conflict with her, huh?
What was that?
She definitely taught you how to resolve some conflict, huh?
Yeah, which is good segue to me asking you a question right now because I just woke up, but I've been thinking about this question for a while, man. I've been thinking about how we had to deal with the little annoyances that we would get in there, and dealing with conflict and dealing with being around a whole bunch of aggressive men at all times, always clowning, always talking shit, always having to you're always going at it. There's always conflict. I think for me, in my experience, it was like almost every day where you always had to deal with somebody or something that was going to annoy you. And so I wanted to ask you, what were your maybe top 5 things that you did to deal with conflict and that you did to sort of avoid getting in trouble too, because it can happen at any given time where, somebody said something disrespectful and you want to fight them. And the next thing you know, you're in the hole or whatever. But how did you deal with conflict, or how do you deal with conflict in there?
I just stopped arguing with people that were 6'5", 280 pounds. That's step one.
Okay.
The fuckers in the yard that all they do is work out. Like, I'm not arguing with you. I can't live with you. No.
Pick and choose your battle. Well, I mean, but I know you're joking, but pick and choose your battle too, though, right? I know you're joking, but that is you also do got to kind of pick and choose your battles about who exactly you're going to be messing with, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say for me, it came with so now that I've run through a little bit more groups, I use something called, it's a stick, which stands for stop, take a deep breath, imagine the consequences, and choose.
Yeah.
So, but before I learned this method, I always take a deep breath and imagine, and then what do I want out of the conversation? So, for example, I had a celly who would do meth, and me, I don't do meth. I never tried. I never done it. But even more than that, I'm past the point of me doing drugs in prison or when I'm out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good for you.
First, I had to find the right time to talk to him. First, when he wasn't high.
Uh-huh.
That was one. Number 2, when he wasn't coming down, or number 3, or when he wasn't chasing it. So I had to catch him in a good mood, right? To be and it's not because I was scared of him or not because of anything other than that, but it was just to get just so we could have a good conversation and we could both get what we want out of it. So during the conversation, we actually ended up having a good conversation, but I had to pick the right time. Number 1, pick the right time. Number 2, know my needs and my wants of what I want out of the conversation. What are my needs and what do I want to get out of it? And am I willing to compromise?
Yeah.
And number 3, the most important one for me is don't talk with aggression. There's certain words that trigger people in prison really fast.
Yeah.
Like the word you call somebody a snitch, big trigger.
Oh,
Bitch,
yeah.
if you make a coward, a punk, something like that, or make somebody feel like they're doing something because you're telling them to, that's a big red flag. So at first when I was first doing this for the first couple of times, it made me feel less than a man, or somehow I wasn't about that life no more. It made me feel like, man, I really gotta go through all this just to go talk to somebody because I don't like what he's doing. I'm like, man, I feel like a bitch right now. Man, I should just roll over and show my belly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because prison comes with a lot of aggression, with a lot of and then the perception of what other people see you as, because we, one of our basic human needs is acceptance.
Right.
So we want the acceptance from our peers. I didn't want nobody to view me as that, but then at the same time, it's like I no longer care what you think. So I'm doing me now. So why would I care if you think that I'm a bitch? Why would you think that I'm scared that I'm scared to fight? I'm not. I'll take an ass whooping or I'll win the fight. It don't really matter. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Those were my 3, but now I go 100% with stick.
I think we used to have something called STAR, and it was stop, think, act, and reflect. And that was something that we used too. That was one of the methods I used. But for me and you, specifically you've already been in prison for over a decade. At this point, you don't got nothing to prove to nobody. right? You've already done a
Yeah.
large stretch of time. You've already been through your knucklehead phase. At that point, who cares what people think about you? But I do understand what you mean about being tactful, right? About having to approach certain people in different kinds of ways because you never know what's going to trigger them, right? And
Yep.
so being smart like that, I don't think is a negative thing. I think it's just being smart, man, and trying to make sure that you're avoiding these situations because you don't want to get in trouble, right? You're trying to get out, you're trying to program, you're trying to see the streets again, you know? And I think using those tactics are very good, man. So for me, it was always stop, think, act, and reflect, or it was just stop saying what you're saying, stop talking the way you're talking, stop acting the way you're acting, and stop. I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, those are pretty good tactics, man. Those are pretty good tactics for resolving conflict.
There was one of my cellies got an argument in here, right? Like a while back. So there's this guy, right, who looks like a man's man. Like he looks like he doesn't laugh when you tickle him, like one of those men, you know? Like
Yeah.
you know? So fucking they're arguing, right? And my celly's kinda like a hothead. But so they're arguing and I see the conversation going bad and the dude loses it. The other dude loses it, right? And fucking he calls him out and my celly does this. He's just like, what the fuck are you doing? The fuck? He's like, I'm gonna kiss you. If you're gonna beat my ass, everybody's gonna know it's because I kissed you because you're gay. Because he wanted me to kiss you. Hey, the dude snapped out of it in a snap of fingers, and he was like, "Oh shit! Like what the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then everybody started laughing. Like he broke the tension, and I'm like, man, somebody called me out to a fight. But you never know, he might kiss me back.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope, bro. I was just about to ask you what was one of like the craziest stories have you ever seen of somebody like trying to avoid conflict, and I think that's it right there. Just give him a good old kiss on the lips, bro. That's no, you know.
Yeah, and then there was another one too, right?
No, guys, that's not the way to do it. It's a joke.
There was another one, right? There was another one where they were fucking arguing. They were going back and forth, like, you're a fucking bitch. Da, 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 da. They're going back and forth, right? And you could tell that one of the dudes snapped out of it.
Right.
And then the dude peels out, right? Like, they start going to where they're going to fight. And then he just says, no. And turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
All they said was no. And I'm like, damn, like, that's all he said. I'm like, good for you, pal. Good for you. But you gave him your back. You fucked up. You should have turned around and ran.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody was calling him scared, too, after that. Everybody's probably saying he was, like, scared little weenie for backing up out of that fight. But sometimes it's a good thing to do, man. I hate to say it, too, because I used to have the mentality of, like, someone calls you out, you fight them right away. No questions asked. You get busy, especially if someone disrespects you. But now that I'm almost 40, bro, and I've been out here working and doing things, bro. I think that the best way to do it is to avoid conflict. Is just to say, man, I'm not going to fight you, man. This is not what the solution is. Isn't violence all the time. Now, if someone threatens me or my wife or my daughter, yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with them. They're gonna the beast is gonna come out. But as of right now, it's like, no, dude, we need to be more mature enough to say, hey, man, fighting isn't always the answer, man. We need to turn away from that, I think. And it sounds like a lot of people in there are doing that. It sounds like you got a couple people in there that have good heads on their shoulders. Yeah. You being one of them.
And remember that our answer was always violence to everything, no matter what it was. For me, one of the worst experiences for me was juvenile hall. We fought for everything. Somebody took your chair, you fought. Somebody looked at you for more than 5 seconds, you fought. Everything was a fight, right? Yeah. Everything was a fight, and it to always respond with violence. Hey, what you looking at? Oh, nothing. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm looking at you. You're fighting, and you're fighting, and it's just a back and forth trend. I remember one time. I'm gonna try to make this real quick. So I was in juvenile hall. I got to juvenile hall my very first time. I was 13, right? They told me the rules. If somebody does this, and that, you fight. Yeah. I got up from my chair. When I came back, some fucking dude that was like 6'1". I don't know how the fuck he was 17. He was 60. I'm probably putting dubs on it, right? But he was big. And so he's sitting on my chair, and then everybody in the day room looked at me. I felt everybody's eyes on me, so I felt the pressure, and I told him, I said, hey, you're on my chair. And he says, yeah, so what? I said, all right, I need that. So as soon as he's not even up, right, I sucker punched the dude. I punched him as hard as I could, and this motherfucker looked at me with anger, bro. Like I did nothing to him. The punch did nothing to him, bro. Yeah. He got more angry, so he whooped me. He beat my ass bad, right? He whooped me, and like I felt embarrassed and shame. But then I also showed everybody that I wasn't scared to fight, right? But looking back at it, I'm like, man, I got my ass beat. Like my whole inside of my mouth was chewed up. Like I went to court with like bottom, my lip was like sticking out, like this. My mom's looking at me like, my mom's clutching her pearls, like, oh my god, what's going on with my son? He's been in jail for 4 days. But it's just the peer pressure, right? And Go on.
No, I was gonna say that's a crazy story, bro. I think we've all kind of experienced one of those stories, bro, where we've like got into a situation, end up getting beat up, but at the same time, you feel kind of good because you're like, man, at least I handled my business. At least I, wasn't a punk, as you would say. But that's crazy, bro.
My stance was
Crazy.
my winner was. Did you see me hit him? Did you see me hit him?
Yeah, I got him once, bro. I got him once, man. You know, sometimes that's all you need, bro. Sometimes that's all you need. But we all have those fights that we just beat up somebody too, so it goes both ways. But dropping the soap, man. Another episode.
And not only getting out, but like seeing everything new and the phones and the technology. But how was it? How was it getting back to the relationships that you left behind when you got locked up?
First of all, it's a very good question. Secondly, I would say it's very overwhelming,
Especially,
bro. Uh-huh.
no, I was gonna say especially with your parents because I know it was difficult to communicate with them because they're deaf and obviously we didn't have video callings at the time that you were in here.
Yeah, we didn't at all, man. I think when you first get out, bro, life is overwhelming, man. Like I didn't even know how to use my credit card, my debit cards. I didn't even know how to do any of that when I first got out. And so I used to always want to bring cash around with me everywhere, bro. And I would pay with cash. Like the technology was crazy, bro. You go into a Burger King, you got to get your meal like from a screen, you know? And so everything was completely different for me. It was a little overwhelming, but as far as relationships with my family go, I think we got out, and I think I've definitely had more opportunities to spend time with them. You know, I'm back in touch with, a lot of people that I never thought I would be back in touch with. And I'm working on building, if anybody knows me, man, I work on building a relationship with every single one of my family members, man. If they decide to message me, I will message them back. If they want to hang out, I will go and make an effort to go hang out with them. I mean, it's really up to them. That me and my mom's relationship has gotten dramatically better. My nieces and my nephews, bro. Oh, dude, like I got to see them for the first time, dude. I was like damn near in tears, bro. And yeah, they all got my back, bro. They're like so supportive. My older brothers, both my older brothers, bro, they support me every day. I talk to my brother on a weekly basis, bro, and he's just constantly supporting me, constantly motivating me to do better. And like even now, he's like, dude, you have next levels of your life that you get to reach now, man. You get a better job or get a house now. Even though I have a really good job, they're like, you can get a house now. You can get a business going. You can do this and that. So they've been very supportive, man. They've been very supportive. It's different. But how is it for you? Because I know you've been down for a decade, 10 years plus. What's the relationship like with your family then? Your family like in now, and has there been any conflict with you and your family?
Bro, you make me feel old as fuck when you say a decade plus. I still feel like I'm 17, bro. Stop reminding me, bro. Stop reminding me. Fuck.
You sound like
All
you're
my
17.
fucking 20s in here. Oh, that's the good part. Then that's the good part. I would say it's complicated and it's mostly I would say it's my doing because I abandoned everybody. Right? I abandoned everybody. I chose to be selfish. I chose to make the decision and leave the criminal lifestyle and the gang lifestyle. And I left my nephews behind when they were months. They were just months. Both of them were just born. And so I understand why sometimes there's distance between my mother and I, my sister, my brothers. I haven't spoken to my father in 3 years, but it comes with. I know that there are times that I know a lot of the time they wish I was there, and there are times where they went through hard times and I wasn't there for them because I wasn't here. And before the tablets came, you get to call once a day for 15 minutes, and if they're busy, they can't answer. Then you're shit out of luck. You don't get to talk. I didn't I didn't visit for 2 years. I didn't get a visit for 2 years because they weren't getting approved. Because they had parking tickets and they couldn't afford to pay the parking tickets, so I didn't get to see them for 2 years. I didn't see my mom for 2 years. I missed her whole pregnancy when she had her last child, who I've only met once. My sister the same way. I haven't seen my brother since I've been down, and even before that, he lived in Mexico before I came in here. So it's been like 12 years, 12, 13 years. And it's hard. It's very hard for them as it is for me because I 100% I wish I could call them every day and talk to them every day. I wish I could video call with them. I wish I could give visits, but more than anything, I wish I was there. Me and my sister, like we've always had a very very rocky relationship. When it's strong, but when I do something wrong or we get in an argument, we'll stop talking for 2 years. She don't give a fuck. She'll stop answering all my. I could blow her ass up 10 times back to back. She won't answer. She don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the temper that she comes with. And I wish we were closer than what we are, but I understand that all of our lives, even though we were raised together, they went very separate for each of us. For my older sister and my younger brothers, my baby sister and my baby brother. But most of all, I feel it more for my baby sister, my nephews, because um, I spend no time with them. And I feel really bad when I asked my nephew, I'm like, who's your favorite uncle? And I know he lied to me, little fucking. So he lied to me.
Yeah,
I said,
what you
hey, who's your
supposed to?
favorite
Yeah.
uncle? And he says, you. He said you, but he answered it so fast that I almost believed it. And I'm like, wait, you already know how to lie, right? It still felt good. It still feels good, right? But I wish I was there. And
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's hard to look back on it that I was selfish, and that's what it came down to, me being selfish and me making the decision to choose things over my family. But hopefully one day I'll go home and we could go from there, and I could go possibly where you're at now, right? You know what I mean? Like start building relationships, start building memories with them, and we'll see what goes from there. But right now, we try, they try, and I try.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll give you some advice, bro, too, man, is that like people aren't gonna initially understand who you are when you first get out, bro. Not everybody's gonna understand that you've been in there for a long time and that you got these weird little idiosyncrasies and these weird little mannerisms that you've developed while you were in there, bro. And so my greatest advice for you, bro, is just learn how to love yourself and just be patient with everything, bro. And take it one day at a time, man. Don't try to go too fast, too hard, man, because then you're gonna be overwhelmed. But you're a pretty smart guy, so I know you're gonna figure it out. But yeah, that'd be
and
that'd
I
be my
watch
advice.
people. No, I watch people here right before they go home, right? Because you see everybody who's about to go home,
Yeah,
and the level of anxiety and the level of stress that they go through, it's like through the roof. They're worried about this, you're worried about that, and you don't worry about that while you're here, right? But you watch them go through that, and so I'm like, to me, it's always been like, what happens when you go home? What happens when he goes home? Does he keep his stress under control? His anxiety? Did he build those relationships? Did he? And I see that you did. I remember one time I got on the phone with your sister and she went crazy. She went nuts on me. Remember when I told her, I said, "Oh, I was like, I fuck with your brother. He crazy." All I heard was, I'm like, "Oh, I'm never meeting your sister. She gonna,
she's ready to
she
fight.
gonna put my
She's
head on
probably
the
ready to
spike."
fight you. You know what? I got to give a special shout out to my sis, bro. We don't always see eye to eye, but yeah, I do remember that. Like, I was overwhelmed. And I remember one time I started crying, bro, because I was like, life was too fast for me at the time. And I remember we were in a car and she just pulled over, bro. And she's like, take as much time as you need, man. Get it together, you know? And she was just like patting me on the back. And she would cry with me sometimes too, bro. Like, so I give it a special shout out to her, man, because she was very patient and very like understanding of some of the things that I was going through at the time, you know, because you get so overwhelmed. You're like, ah, man, you know, you just don't know if you're going to be able to
Yeah.
make it. But, you know, once you get past that little first month, man, it's so easy out here, bro. It's so easy. But yeah, she was ready to box you.
Man, she was ready to beat me up. I'm like, man.
I remember that.
I'm like, bro, did she run all your fades for you in high school or what? What happened here?
She's a tough cookie, bro. She's like you said, your sister has a temper. Mine does too, but she's a sweetheart, bro. At the end of the day, she's a sweetheart, man. I think we all got a little bit of temper. We all got a little bit of that in my family.
Man,
But
hey,
yeah.
when it comes to my sister, bro, my sister's like 5'1", 100 pounds, and I'm scared of her. I still sometimes I
So wow,
flinch when
what's
I'm
up?
around her. She'll lift her hand and I'll be like, oh shit, oh shit, don't hit me. Yeah, she's a sweetheart though. My sister, we've had our ups and downs, and my shout outs go to her because she's man, she's been my rock through. Like, she was the first when I got arrested. When I initially got arrested, me and her weren't talking. We weren't on talking terms, right? We got into it because something to do with her baby daddy probably. But she was the first person to write me. She had money on her phone. When I got transferred to the county jail, she was the first to come and see me. She put money in my books. Um, and it's always, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say she's my rocket through everything we went through, all our tough situations. She's there. She's there. She just has her, she reminds me more of my dad than anything. But, she's been there for me the most, for sure. For sure. I'll give my shout out to her. Um, and I wish I could do more for her to help her, but she's a strong cookie, and she picked herself up. She raised her 2 kids on her own, obviously with help from my mom a little bit, but I used to remember her struggling with her kids, right? Because her room was right next to mine, bro. She had the smallest baby, right, Joel. Man, that motherfucker used to. I mean, that little cookie. He used to think like you were murdering him, bro. He used to wake up in the middle of the night like somebody was murdering him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would be like, damn, that's crazy. I look back at that, I'm like, man, how'd she do it to wake up every night to feed him? And he had this little quirk about him, right? Where he would like to sleep on the bed, but he would like for you to shake the bed. So you would have to shake the bed till he would fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you did it prematurely, you had to start all over again because he would start screaming, ah! And there you go, shaking the bed. And I just imagined my sister half asleep, like this, shaking the bed.
Shaking the bed.
Right?
Yeah.
Making sure the baby falls asleep.
That's adorable, though, bro. Yeah, that's adorable, man. I think most women are nurturers at heart. Like, most women are caretakers and they're nurturers, bro. And they're like, women are such a pivotal, such an important part of life and an important part of society. But yeah, it's pretty cute, bro. That's adorable, man.
Hey, you know what? I gotta put stories in here about my sister, how she used to fuck me up when I was a kid, man. Real quick, man. Real quick, one time she threw me in a dryer, bro. She threw my ass in a dryer when I was a kid. I was about 4 years old. Threw me in a dryer. I'm telling you, bro. She. That's what I'm saying. Like we have like man, we have a love-hate relationship, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. But there's nothing like the bond, though, at the same time, man. There's nothing like that.
You can see this podcast, bro. You're gonna be like, man, this guy's a big softie. How do you ever come to prison?
People probably are gonna. People might think that. Yeah, I could see somebody being like, "What the hell? How the hell is this guy?" But nobody knows. I mean, people, if they go back and watch the first podcast, they'll know